Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we are going to discuss about working with the emails using the Imap. In case you are looking to the channel for the first time and you haven't already subscribed, please consider subscribing to the channel to get the latest updates. Talking about the agenda, this would be our agenda for today. We are going to start with what exactly are the prerequisites that are required to start with the email automation. Post that, I am going to quickly cover that what are the mail automations options which are available, different mail operations activities. For Imap, particularly how I can get the server and the port information. Next, we are going to see how we can actually read emails from inbox or any subfolders which are available. And at the end, we are going to see how I can actually download and save the attachments. All of this we are going to do with the help of UiPath Studio. So let's get started by looking at the first topic, which is the prerequisite. Now, whenever we start with email automation, my project should have the dependency of UiPath.mail.activities. Now the version, if you see here, it's 1.12.3. It can be anything. It can be in the latest one or a little bit older one, but try using the latest one. So the first thing to remember here in terms of dependency is that your project should have UiPath.mail.activities available to get started with the UiPath mail automation. One important point to remember here is that UiPath mail.activity is compatible with Microsoft Outlook version of 2013, 16, 19 and Office 365 as well. Today, I am going to tell how I can actually read email from Office 365 Outlook account and download the attachment as well. And that we are going to do with the help of Imap activities. So I hope the first prerequisite is clear, that you need to have the UiPath.mail.activities available in the project. And definitely you should have the Outlook account which you want to connect. So let's go to UiPath Studio and see how I can validate this dependency. I am back in my UiPath Studio. So I'll go here and I'll create a new project. I'll call this project as Imap Mails. Go here and simply create this automation. We'll wait for the process to get loaded. Once the process is successfully loaded, to validate whether the email activities are available or not, you simply have to go to the projects and you would have something which is called dependencies. Dependencies are responsible to give us the activities which we can use in our automation. So if you are looking on the screen as of now, I already have the UiPath.mail.activities with this version available. In case you open a solution which do not have the UiPath.mail.activities available and you want to do the mail automation, all you have to simply go here in the dependencies, click on manage, go to all packages and just search here UiPath.mail. And you would see, you would get the first one, UiPath.mail.activities by UiPath. You have to simply click on install and save this, and that will give you the dependencies to do the email automation, which is this one, UiPath.mail.activities. Now with this, if I go to the activities and if I search here mail, you would notice I am getting all the options which are available to do the email automation. So this was the first prerequisite. Coming back to the presentation, once we add the email dependencies, you would notice that I have different options available. We can use Exchange, IBM Notes, Imap, Outlook, POP3 and SMTP. We separately have activities to save the emails and save the attachment as well. Now, today we are going to explore the Imap bit. Now, if you see, all of these are collabs. If you click on this button, it will expand more further to something like this. These are all the activities which are available. Now, let's say you already have Outlook installed on your computer. which means that outlook.exe is installed and you already have an Outlook license, then you can use all these Outlook activities. Now the good thing about Outlook activity is that you do not require the SMTP configuration, you do not require the port, you do not require to provide the user ID and the password, because all the details are taken from the Outlook. When I say Outlook, I do not mean the Outlook account, I mean the Outlook software installed, running with a valid email on your computer. Then only you are eligible to use the Outlook. Apart from that, you can use all these other options, POP3, SMTP, Imap, Exchange to send and receive the emails. For today's video, we are going to explore how we can use the Get Imap mail messages to read emails from Outlook. So for that, let me go to my Outlook account first and show you the mail structure that what we are going to read today. I am on my browser and I have logged into outlook.live.com, and this is my Outlook account, Office 365 account. And if you see here, I am logged in with my ID mukeshkala @outlook.com. Okay. Talking about the folder structure, I have one inbox. If I click on this one, you would notice that inside the inbox, I have one more folder, which is a subfolder, which is a learning folder. There I have got 2 emails and one email is having a attachment. So this is the overall folder structure which I have: inbox and a subfolder learning, 2 emails, both of them unread, one having the attachment. Now let us see how actually first we can connect, and then we'll try to retrieve this attachment from the subfolders and do the other bits as well. Okay, so this is my Outlook. Now let's go back to UiPath Studio and create a new sequence. I'll call this sequence as read mails and hit create. The sequence is ready. I want to read the emails with the help of Imap. So if you see here in the mail Imap, I am getting the first option which says get Imap mail messages. I simply have to drag and drop this activity here, and that's it. Get Imap mail messages activity is available. Now this activity does not know, right, whose account I should read, which server, which port, is it Office 365, what type of account you are holding. All those information as a developer I need to give to this activity. So for that, you click on this activity, go to the properties. Okay, I'll just pin this property for a while, like this. Okay. So the first thing first, whenever we connect with any mail activity apart from Outlook, we always have to give the server and the port. Now how can I get a server and a port, right? So for that, you simply have to go to Google. I am using the Microsoft account, right? Outlook.live.com is Office 365 account. I just went to microsoft.com and I looked for POP, Imap and the SMTP settings. If I further scroll down, you can see Microsoft has given me that if you are using Imap, use this details. If you are using POP3, use these details. If you are using SMTP, use these details, right? So for us, we are using Office 365 Outlook. So for me, this is my server and this is my port. So all you have to do is just copy this server from here, take it back to the UiPath activity, put it in the server here like this. This is a string, so that will come in the double quotes. What is the port? Let me confirm the port again. The port is 993. Go here and write here 993. That's it. When you are writing a real-time automation, this and this details has to be stored in the Orchestrator assets or in some other place as a configurable thing, right? So you can simply go to the Orchestrator assets as I have created, and you can store it like Outlook server, Outlook port. In case in future if this changes, you do not have to change the automation, right? You can store this thing in the config file as well. Okay, so for this demo I have directly putting here, but you can actually go and create assets for these details. Okay, Now what is the next thing? I have given the server, I have given the port, right? So office. So now UiPath understand that, okay, I need to go to Outlook and I have to go to this port. Now at this account and this port, there may be multiple accounts which are available. My account, your friend's account, your company account, right? How would this activity know which account to read? So we need to inform that you need to go to this server and look for an account. So that detail is available in this field, which is called the logon field. Now in the logon field, there are multiple bits which are available. The three which are important is the email, password, and the secure password. Okay. Now what is the email which you want to read? So if you see here, I will go to the account. So this is my email, right? mukeshkala@outlook.com. So you can go to the email and in here you can say mukeshkala@outlook.com. Right? Now I have given my email ID. Without my password, this activity will not get the authentication. Now to put the password, you have two options. One, you can put the secure password, which is this. This is nothing but a secure string. And the other thing is you can put the password directly as a string. Let's say for me, my Outlook account password is let's say A, B, C, D, E. Let's say this is my password. So there are two options for me. I can directly pass the password as a string here and this activity seems working. But this is not a good practice to store password like this. Anybody who is having access to UiPath Studio or to the Orchestrator can download and see your password, right? So now you guys have to tell me what exactly is the recommended way. I'll wait for some seconds for you guys to pause the video and let me know in the comments that what should be the correct way of storing the credentials. Okay, I hope many of you have given me the correct answer, right? So the correct answer for that is we should store the secure thing in the credential assets of UiPath. Okay, so what I'm going to do next is I'll go to my UiPath Orchestrator and in the assets tab, I'll go here and I'll create a new asset. I'll call this asset is, let's say, credential something. Okay, you have to do the same thing, create the asset. In the type, select as credential, which means that I want to give username and the password. Now you would notice here it is already populating for me something from my pre-populated of the Google Chrome, but I do not want this, right? What you have to do is you just have to put your email ID here, whatever email ID you are using in the Outlook. Okay. And then here you have to put your actual Outlook password. Let's say for the password is 12345. So you just go create this and create this asset. That is the thing you have to do when you want to store the password in the Orchestrator. The type should be credential. Once you create this, I'll just leave this. Okay. And if you notice here, for me, I have already created my Outlook credential here. I can go here and I can click on this button which says edit. Okay. And if you see mukeshkala@outlook.com is created. And even if I myself attempt to see the password, right, I am not getting that option. Though I only created the password, I don't have the option to see this, right? So this is available in the credential type of asset. Okay. So what else we have done? We have provided this here, server port, we have hard coded there, but you can always create asset for this guy also, right? So now I require password, which I do not want to give, and email also I do not want to hard code. How I can get the asset? Absolutely simple. With the new data manager, which is available here, right? You don't have to drag and drop the activities, right? So the data manager option is available here. We have explored the complete 2020.10 update in the previous video. Feel free to explore to get hands on this data manager, right? So for me, the asset name is Outlook credential. So I can go here in the data manager, click on this filter button, and we want to work as of now only on assets, right? So now here, which asset I want to use? I want to use the Outlook credential. Just drag this asset like this. and it is asking me which activity you want to use. Get credential. That's it. UiPath will automatically pre-populate the field for me that you are connected to the admin folder. This is your asset name and all these details, right? So all of this we have already covered in the previous videos of Data Manager. Please have a look to understand the 2022.10 update. Okay. Once you have this activity in place, the output of this would be your username and the password. So for that, you simply have to go and click on this option which says show advanced option. And at the bottom, you would have two options. These are assuming as out. So I go here, hit Ctrl+K and I say username. That is the shortcut to create a variable. And in the password, I hit Ctrl+K and I type password. Okay, so two variables are created for me, username and the password. The password is of secure string. Now you understand that why we are not getting the variables panel here. That is because of the Data Manager, right? I'll quickly go here, filter for the variables, and I can see that username and the password are created with a type of secure string, and username is a variable of type string. That works for me. Okay, now all we have to do is just pass this detail to this activity. I'll go to the properties here, and in the email, now email would be available in my username field. And now you see, when you have to type the password, I was using this field which was called password. If you keep your mouse, it is telling me that I am expecting a string. In the angular bracket, if you notice, it is telling me that I am expecting a string, right? So one way is to type your password like this, but the best way is to use the secure password, and that is in the password field. Where do I get this? From the asset activity, get credential activity. That's it. That is the only setting you would require: mail server, port, email address, and the password. So now UiPath understand that I have to go to our Office 365 account at this port number. I need to look for an username, which is this, with this password. If this password is correct, it will give us the result. Otherwise, it will give us an error saying that the authentication is not successful. Okay. Now the next thing, we have told UiPath that you need to go to Office 365, you need to come to this account, and then you have to read the emails. Now the next obvious question from UiPath would be, I can see there are multiple folders: inbox, learning, McAfee, anti-spam, junk folder, sent items, and there are many other folders, right? How would I know which folder you want to read? And that's absolutely valid question, right? So for that, if you see here, we have something which is called the mail folder in the host. Here we have to instruct UiPath which folder I want to read the emails from. So for example, I want to read the email from the mail folder, and which is inbox. Now inbox is already written here by default. What are the other things which it is asking me? The other thing is, do you want to read only the unread messages, or do you want to read all the messages? Right? That's a valid question, right? How do you want to UiPath to perform? So do you want to read only the unread or the read? What do you mean by unread and read? So this is a read message. I can click here, and now this is unread. If I just click on this, I read this email. So now this is a read email, right? So that is the read and the unread. UiPath is asking me, do you want to read only the unread one or the read one? Depending on your automation, you can choose whether you want to read only the unread or the read. So for me, let's say I am telling UiPath that I only want to read the unread messages. How do you order them? Do you want to order them by the newest first or the oldest first? Sometime you might need to write an automation where you want to order by date the emails, right? I do not want to read the unread emails by the newest. I want to do it from the oldest, right? Go here and change this filter. Newest, right? Only the unread messages, that's it. Top is a very interesting property which is of type integer, which tells us that how many email I want to read from the Outlook. And that email is the same thing which you configure here. So here I am telling UiPath that I want to read unread emails. So if I see on my mailbox, I have got 13 unread emails, but I do not want to have all the 13. Let's say my business requirement or my process requirement is that I only want to read the top 5 unread emails. So that 5 you can configure here. In the real-time automation, all these settings such as the top, secure ID, password, all of these things should be made configurable. Okay, so that is you need to make sure, because today your requirement says 5, tomorrow it might change to 10, right? You don't want to come and change the automation. Okay, so for this I have created 5 here. So what we are instructing UiPath to read us the top 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. These 5 emails we are trying to read. The other 13 are at the bottom, right? So that's why I have written here 5. One other thing is here, which is a pretty handy option, mark as read. UiPath is telling me once I read those emails from the Outlook, same like you are reading, do you want to mark that email as read or you want to leave it as unread only? Okay, so for now, let me uncheck this one, right? It is, I don't want to mark it as read, and we just leave it to the default settings, but this is an option available. We'll just explore in a bit moment. Okay, now I have done all the settings. So let's quickly revise. I am telling UiPath to go to Office 365 account, go to this port, go to a folder which is inbox, use Mukesh user ID and the password, then read the top 5 unread emails only, and that is the thing you have to do. Now the next option available is, once UiPath read all of these emails, it requires you to have a variable where you can store the output. So the output is this guy, which is a messages. So if I keep my mouse over, you would notice that it is a list of mail messages. This is a common interview question which is getting asked, that what do you get when you read the emails? Many of the candidates say that when you read the emails, you get a string. That's not possible, right? Because email are multiple emails, 1 email, 2 email, 3 email, 5 emails. Some are having attachment, some don't have attachment, right? So the correct answer for that is list of mail messages. Okay, so just remember that whenever we read emails, whether it is Outlook, Imap or any other thing, you always get a list of mail messages. Okay, next, to save the output, I'll go here and hit Ctrl+K, and I say list of mails output. Okay, and Ctrl+K would automatically create the variable in the data manager for me. This is the list of mail messages, and you can see the data type for this guy is system.net.generic list of mail messages. Okay, so the output of this activity is list of mail messages. That's it. Now I have read everything. I have got it in a list. Now what is the next thing you want to do with the mails, right? The question arises, what do you want to do with the emails? Do you want to get the subject? Do you want to get the receive time? Do you want to get the content of the email? Do you want to download it? What do you want to do, right? So that again is your automation requirement. So for me, my automation requirement is, let's say I want to get all the mail subject, the subject of the email, right? This one, these subjects I want to get. How can I do that? Since this is a list, right? It is having a collection, and I want to operate on all the separate emails. We need to iterate it, right? We want to loop it. So to loop, we use an activity which is called for each. Okay, and now if you see here, I have got multiple for each. If you are using Gmail and Outlook, you can use this one, but I will just teach you that how you can do it with this one for each. So I'll go in the workflow control, and I'll take this one, which is this for each. Okay, when I take this for each does not know what to iterate. Absolutely blank, it has no idea. So it is asking me, Mukesh, tell me, where are your items which you want to iterate in? Where is your item? So my items are available in this variable, list of mail output. List of mail output. That's it. And the beauty of this activity is that as soon as you provide the collection name here, the type argument will automatically get changed to system.net.mail messages. In the previous automations, or I would say in the previous version of this activity, what we have to do as a developer, you have to come here and manually change this thing. But with the newer update, as soon as you provide the collection, it automatically understand what do you want to do. Okay. Now for each current item in this, now to simplify, I'll just change this one. You can always change. I rename it to mail. So now for each mail in list of mail messages, what this activity will do, this will return me all these emails one by one, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So how many times this loop will run? 5 times. Why 5 times? Because we have specified here 5. Okay. So top 5 emails will read here. It will give me all the emails one by one in this variable. Now all I have to do is use a write line, right? It can be anything here, guys. You can write any automation to download, save, get the email, get the body. So for me, I simply want to get the subject, let's say. Now this mail object, so this mail variable is a net.mail object. That means it will have all the properties which an email has. So if I simply go here and I write mail, which is this guy, and I put a dot, you would see I have an option for attachment, BCC, body encoding, copy, CC date. All the options which are valid for an email would be available here. So let's say I am interested in the subject. So I'll go here and I say subject. That's it. It will loop through and get me all the subjects one by one. Okay. Before that, I just want to add one more activity here. And I simply want to see how many email I have got from the get Imap. I want the count of the email, right? So I can do it like this. From the complete list, whatever you get, just count the number of item using an expression called count, and the output I want to print. So just making it dot to string. That's it, right? So what would happen? Automation would run. It will first get us the credential, user ID and the password. It will read the emails with the settings which we have configured, and it will print these details here, right? So this, I'll say that these are the total mails. So the total mails are this. I just printed the count of the total email which I get from get Imap. Then I use a for each to iterate, and for all the emails, I just simply want to print the subject. Before running the automation, I have sent some of the sample email to my mail ID, which look like this, so that we all can actually validate. So now my inbox is having 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 unread emails with this subject: YouTube channel, password manager, invoice sample, and sample email, right? Now, if I go here and I run this automation, we are expecting to get all the subjects printed. Okay. So let me just go here and I say run the file. Okay, the automation is going to start now. Okay, and the expectation would be it will connect to my Outlook server, read all these details or the emails from the inbox, and print the subjects. Okay, automation is completed. Let me go to the output, and you can see the total email which I have got was 5. That is coming from this activity, and these are the subject: channel, mail, password manager, invoice, and the sample emails. Now for this, I have only used the write line to use mail.subject. You can use mail.body, you can use mail.sender, you can use a if condition, you can do anything, whatever you want to do with this piece of automation here. Okay. Now that was about reading the emails. Now one thing, if you notice here, when Outlook read the email, or I would say UiPath read the email from Outlook, all the emails are still marked as read, right? The reason for that, because in the get Outlook mail message activity, we have instructed it to not mark as read. If I go here and I say mark as read, now what would happen? It will mark all the email as read. So just see that how a simple checkbox can change the automation. I go here and I say run the file. Same automation. Again, we are instructing to read all the emails, print the subject, but this time also instructing to mark them as read as well. Automation has started. We'll just wait for the automation to finish. Okay, and if you're noticing on the screen, UiPath is marking the emails as read as well. So if I go back, you see all the emails are marked as read. One obvious question arises here, that what happens if I run this automation again? I have told UiPath that you read only the unread. I don't have any unread. Top 5, no top 5 emails unread are available. What would happen? Let's try to see. Go here and I say run the file. In case the criteria whichever you have specified is not meeting, you would get no results. So total email is equal to 0, which means that get IMAP mail message activity in the output got 0. So this for each did not got anything, so we got nothing in the output. Okay, so that is how you read the emails with the help of IMAP. Okay, now let's try to do something else here. In my Outlook, if you see here, inside the inbox I have a subfolder which is called learning, and in the learning I have got two emails. One is the sample input file and the other is having sample input file is having some input data, and the other is some normal email, right? Now let's say I am writing an automation where I have to read the data from a subfolder and download the attachment. How can I do that in UiPath? That is what we are going to explore next. Okay, so we are going to customize the same activity. So in the get IMAP, if you see here, as of now we are reading it from inbox. Now I want to read it from a subfolder which is inside the inbox. So all you have to do is go here and do this and write like this, learning, right? Go to inbox, inside inbox you have learning. Let's say learning also have subfolders, so you can just go and type the subfolder name here, right? So that is how you use Outlook activities or any email activity for that matter to read the subfolder. So I am telling UiPath, go to the mail folder which is inbox learning. Okay, and if you see here, all the emails are unread, right? So now this only unread emails will not work here, right? Because my mails are already read. So I can uncheck this one and I can see that now I am telling UiPath to go to inbox learning, read all the emails, whether it is read, unread, read everything. How many emails do you want to read? Top 5. So far I can see I have only 2 emails, right? So top 5 would work for me, or top 3 will also work, right? Because 2 is less than 3. What else you want to do with the email? So once I have got the email, I want to print the total email count and then I want to print the subject. Okay, let's try to first see whether we are able to get the subject from the subfolder or not. Okay, then we write the next automation. I'll go here and I say run the file. Automation has started and it says that the requested folder could not be found. Get IMAP mail message says the folder which you are trying to read is not found. Let me see what has happened. I'll go and check the spelling learning, and here also it is learning. Okay, so I have made a mistake here, guys. Actually this is this slash. Okay, it should be the forward slash, not a backslash. Okay, so inbox / learning. Okay, so that is thing you need to remember. If you put a backslash, it won't work. Okay, so I have changed this thing now. So inbox / learning. Let's save this automation and try to rerun this. Okay, I'll clear the output, go here and I say run the file. Okay, IMAP execution started. And yes, I am able to see the 2 emails, which is sign up with this one and the sample input file, which is these 2 one. Okay, fine. So that means that whenever you are writing the subfolder, it should be a / By mistake, I have put a backslash. So this is how you put the detail to read the data from a subfolders. Okay. Now, once you have got all these emails, I have a condition that I want to download the attachment from this email which says sample input file. Okay, and I know that the subject would be always this, and I want to download this attachment, right? So in UiPath, once you are reading all the emails, inside this block you can actually write condition, right? So it can be any condition. Let's say I'm taking an if, and I am saying that if my mail dot subject, whatever mail dot subject you have, right? If my mail dot subject dot contains, maybe you can write any condition, right? If it contains this thing, sample input file, or I just say input file. If your subject contain this thing, that if in your subject you have this thing, you can apply an or and put a filter for the subject, do all the other bits. To add more condition, actually with the 2022.10 update, you have something which is called condition builder. You can click on this button here and that will open a condition builder for you. So you always has an option to add more condition directly here. So this we have explored in the update series. Feel free to explore this thing which is called the condition builder, and this is an update of 2022.10, right? So for us, if mail.subject contain input file, I simply want to download the attachment, let's say, right? So to download the attachment, I have an activity called save attachment inside the email. Drag and drop this activity in the then part, because if the condition is satisfying, then only I want to do this, right? The other thing which you also can apply here, you also can check whether the mail has attachment or not. So that also I can do by writing it here, and mail dot attachments dot any, which means that if the mail have attachment, then only you attempt to download the email and the condition matches the input file. Now it is asking me where is the mail. So mail is nothing but this guy here. And the next thing it is asking me, where do you want to save the file, right? So let's say I want to save the file in d:\data. Okay, so as of now, if you see, I only have 2 folders here. So I go here and I provide this path like this. In the real-time automation, this path will come from a config file and no hard coding. Okay, what do you want to do in the else? In the else, I want to simply log a message. I want to log a message which is an information that subject does not match. Okay, if the subject match, we'll download and we will put this an information here that subject match and download, right? You can keep any more information here, put more kind of logs, whatever you require. All this information is possible here, right? So I'm just showing you a simple logic of downloading an attachment. You can write any complex logic whichever you want to write. Okay, so if the subject contain input file, if the mail has attachment, log a message, download the attachment, and in the else say subject do not match. I'll save this, go back here in the automation and simply say run the file. Okay, so we'll just wait for the automation to load and let's see how it behaves. If everything goes well, we should be able to get this attachment input data.xlsx in our folder, and for this it should say the subject do not match. Okay, so the automation has started. Let's see. Yeah, so total mails we have got 2. For first one it says subject do not match. For the second one it says that subject match and download. Now if it is download successful, it should be available in the d:\data folder. Let us go back to the folder and you can see that input data.xlsx is available here, right? So now whatever data you have in the inbox in the subfolder is now available for you in the folder. Now from here you can actually go write logic to read this data, put it in a browser, put it in a database. You can do anything, whatever you want to do with this one, right? So this can be any input source for your automation. So that is how you actually go and read the emails and download the attachments. Okay, so that is pretty much which I wanted to cover today. Let's quickly summarize. So today we have seen that in order to get started with the mail, we need to have the mail dependency added in the UiPath. UiPath has got a native integration with Office Outlook 365, which means that no port and server is required if you have Outlook installed on your computer. Otherwise, you need to have the SMTP port and the server details, right? We have seen how I can get the details directly from the Microsoft website. I'll post the link in the description for your reference. We have also seen how I can read the emails from any folder, be it an inbox, be it a subfolder. And lastly, we have seen that how I can save the attachments. So I hope you understand whatever we intended to cover today. If you have any more questions, feel free to drop me in the comments, and you can also write me an email as well. I'll appreciate your feedback on the video, that how do you like the video, was it helpful, was it not helpful, and what are the next topic you want to see on the channel. Having said that, I would like to wrap this video here. Thank you for watching. If you like this video, please do subscribe to the channel, and happy automation.